Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. If you are not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here, and I'll do my best to answer your questions or state your comments. And by the way, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. And by the way, you only can make these comments or ask your questions during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building Saturday at John's contest coverage, Sparky does a lot on this platform. And if you find that enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share the videos, comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. And please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships. For starters, just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member. I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account each and every month, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't miss it either. You can also support us using the Super Chat, which is located over here below the chat box, and you can donate any amount you like. Now, your support helps offset, and with your memberships, you'll get special badges that Sparky and I can see in the chat box. You also get unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show just for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm only in here just twice a week, excuse me. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called a question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his camera, me flying his Junar XL, and I'll receive a notification and be able to respond to you quickly. That's because that's my channel. Now, this channel, the Stunthangar YouTube channel, I'm only in here twice a week, and I don't really check the comments. So if you want to get in touch with me, do it the other way. Go to my YouTube channel, and I'll be notified. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family, room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children and grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to post a link now at Stunthangar. Let me go there now and do that. I might need to kick off some teenagers. I am having a terrible connection. I see I'm a little bit choppy, and got to get rid of that. Let me go to the what I call the control panel. Just be a moment here. I really need to fix this YouTube stream. It's really terrible. It really is. Bear with me here just a second here. Good. Well, I see that we are streaming. That's encouraging. It says we have excellent connection, so I don't know what's going on. Hey, Mike Millard, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you. But my internet connection is not, or my stream, I saw it's kind of choppy. And I don't know what's going
too
on.
bad to me.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's good. Well, it looks like we have 11 concurrent viewers, and we have 7 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please smash that. And Mike Millard, thank you so much. I see you donated through the super chat $10. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And Tom Ramel says like provided, and Gary Sinclair gave me a thumbs up. And we're all up to date, and that's fantastic. So hopefully we will have a really good show this evening. I'm looking forward to that anyhow. So tell me what you've been up to.
Not too much, other than getting mixed news. I guess I'm probably going to be officially retired next month.
And I don't know
And
what's going on, but you're actually pausing. I can't hear a continuous stream of audio from you. I wonder if it's my channel. I think it's.
yeah, I think, did we lose a string?
And I'm happy to see that. Got my Pampa shirt on. Looks like I lost my connection momentarily. Hey, you guys, I'll be right back. I have a poor connection. I think I need to kick some people off our internet because I'm not streaming very well. Hey, Caffeine. Hey, Gary Sinclair.
Hey.
If you guys talk amongst yourself, let me go fix this if I can. All right.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Okay.
I'm gonna bow out momentarily here, but go ahead and talk to yourself.
Who all's here? Hello.
Yeah, just Essence.
Just us. How are you doing?
All right.
We're kind of hot and humid here.
Oh, there the names showed up.
Hello. Hopefully the string gets straightened out. I did notice my phone was down to 20-some% on phone battery, and that's what I use for this. So I had to plug it in, so it's sitting plugged in, pointing up against my computer. Hopefully it stays put.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
got you.
Oh, okay. Is it loud enough?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Pretty good. Sounds good.
All right. I don't hear myself, but I'll assume you can hear me, so that's fine.
What's everybody been doing this week?
Oh,
I
too
crashed
much.
a plane today.
Hey, hello.
I said I crashed a plane today.
Charles will be back very quick.
Oh, no.
Oh, well. Trying to learn outside loops.
Oh. The ground come up too fast?
Yeah, pretty much.
As
But I'll get it. I'm
when I
close.
finally get something built and try it, I am sure the ground's going to come up too fast many, many times for me since I haven't touched a control line since the early 90s. It could be really interesting that first flight. I know I'm going to short tank it for sure.
It's like riding a bicycle. You'll get back to it really fast. Oh.
So,
Hey, Gordy.
How you doing?
Hey,
doing all right. How are you doing?
Well, I'm hanging in there.
That's good. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Who's hiding in the background there, Gordy?
That is, who is it? Roger Kramer.
Hey, Roger.
Roger.
Move where we can see you, Roger.
Oh, well, I wasn't doing my special. So let me. Where's Charles tonight?
he's trying to get straightened out.
He's got a computer problem he's trying to figure out.
Oh,
Yeah, the streams bit was acting funny. It still seems to be acting like a little hesitation or something at times.
well, don't look like we have too many logged in yet.
Yeah.
Well, he was a little late getting the notice out, I think.
See again?
I think it was a little late getting the notice out.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Trying to get it in again.
Mark, what did you fly this year
And what?
in Classic?
I had my P40 at the Nats.
Oh, did you?
How'd you do?
I think I came in last.
Got that.
There's a lot of good flyers there, but I got 2 awards for it. I got the Pilot's Choice Award and I got the Spirit of 69 Award.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you still have all your other airplanes or have you crashed them?
No, I still got them all.
Are you running out of room?
Almost.
Oh, it's,
Hey, Mark, this is Roger. Tucson 3 or 4 years ago was not a pleasant go around for you with your hurricane. Do you remember?
Sure.
That
They don't have the hurricane anymore, Gordy. You know about that.
the bird kind of, shook his head a little and kept going, but the airplane didn't fare so well. That was really bad.
I didn't know you hit a bird.
It was an egret, I think.
No, it was a blue heron.
Blue heron. All right.
Yeah, you don't want to hit a bird that big.
Well, I didn't actually hit him with the plane. I hit him with the lines.
Jeez.
Okay.
Did it
But
hurt?
that was enough to
Yeah. Well,
total the hurricane.
it powered into the pavement.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I lived a good life. It was over 10 years old.
It gave up the gun.
Kind of had a unique end. How often does somebody hit a blue heron with their line?
Well,
yeah.
A friend of mine, he's passed away now, but he was flying his combat plane, hit a sparrowhawk,
Ooh,
dead center, and killed the bird. And shut the motor off. Didn't hurt the airplane though. He got home and pulled the back plate, and the engine was full of feathers.
Oh,
True story.
oh my. Yeah.
golly.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought I probably killed the bird, and I'm looking for him flopping around on the blacktop over there, and he just kept on flying. He lost about 10 or 15 feet of altitude when the lines hit him, but he kept on going.
So
That's a pretty good sized bird. That's almost what, eagle size? Not weight wise, but about
They
eagle.
have about
Big as a goose.
5 or 6 foot wingspan, so he was bigger than the airplane.
Yeah.
Big as a snow goose.
So did the airplane come in on the lines or something or what?
No, I was doing the wing over, so I didn't see him coming.
Oh,
And I
gee.
came over the top and started down is when I hit him.
Oh, boy.
I saw this big gray thing out the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
It all happened so fast.
We
Yeah.
have problems here with seagulls.
Oh,
We'll be flying, they'll fly right through the circle.
Really? Whoa.
that's no help.
Not at all. We end up yelling at whoever's flying. Look out, because they go right through the circle.
Yep.
They like to hang out in that park that we
Let me
fly.
interrupt for a second.
Oh, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah.
Welcome
I'm
back,
just
Charles.
curious. I'm
Charles.
hearing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the audio is kind of spotty. Is it myself? Is it my side, or are you guys noticing the audio is in and out? Is the audio smooth on your guys' side?
I'm good.
It's all good. It must be my side then, because I sometimes it's kind of spotty. So I'll just have to deal with it. As long as you guys are
Yeah.
doing well and the program is streaming well, then we'll just
It
deal
seems
with
to
it.
be
But let me-
streaming okay.
Oh, good. Well, let me just welcome
Yeah.
everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I think when I left, it was just Mike and Mark and Gary Sinclair. I see Gordon Delaney's here. Thank you, Gordon. Is that Roger Kramer behind you?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Roger. Last time I saw you was at the Golden State Stunt Championship when it was really windy,
Yes.
and we flew in the first round. I came by you and said, "You're gonna fly in the second round," and you said yes. And I go, "Man, what about the wind?" He goes, and you said, "What wind?" I'll never ever forget that, because you were trying to get into my head.
What way?
And I flew in the second round because John Wright recommended that I do that.
I'm an older, so whenever you go compete anywhere, the wind blows. What wind? So it's psychological, What wind? Talk yourself into a good flight.
Mark, who's making his way in here. And then on the chat box, we have, I think I left off with Gary Sinclair, he gave us the thumbs up. Then we have a guy named Big Sid. He says, "I can hear Mike perfectly." Thank you, Big
Okay.
Sig. And Banshee 15 says, "Evergreen Museum, Spruce Goose!" Exclamation mark. And then Philip Bailey says, "Like delivered." And so we're all caught up, and continue on.
Well, we'd like to do a show and tell, Charles, if that's.
Oh, that'd be great. Let me make sure
Yeah,
it's
that'd be
set
great.
up right.
Pardon?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you know how to do that, Gordon? Go ahead and do that.
Roger is. This is Roger's airplane. It's electric pathfinder.
All right.
I'll
Gene.
let him tell you what's going on. So. Just put it right in there.
Let me make you big. 1 second. I thought you were going to share a screen, but you're actually going to show it right there. Yeah, it looks really nice, Roger. Oh,
good.
wow. I like how you did that. Can you bring it closer to the camera?
Or
Oh, Zoom. Don't want-
I'll get
Oh,
it.
wow. That is very cool.
This is a stock, I'd call it a stock Pathfinder. We built it off the plans. I didn't want all the spaghetti, stuff, the ugly stuff hanging out.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is a 2-inch spinner, and there's really not a nose ring per se. The cowls just fit up behind the back plate like the way they do. Your ESC Ice Light 50s over here. I got the
Very
wire.
nice.
The wires are tied up neatly here. If you went to a slightly larger spinner, you'd have a little bit more room. It's close and snug, but it works. So
It's cool. Looks nice.
old school Will Huben timer setup. This one stays on in place. Air exit in the back, air scoop here. Same on each side. And I use Bob Violet hatch latches. So there's no tools required. You can change the battery in about a minute. I use just a lightweight aluminum. I think it's 16 thousandths aluminum strap, and this strap is just to keep the battery from falling out until it takes off, because centrifugal force is going to hold it in there anyway. So is that
Looks good.
kind
What are
of
those cowlings made out of?
epoxy glass? I use
Nice.
I just used a white styrofoam and eyeballed them, got them, about the same length and off the back of the spinner, and you can see they just fit on the front just like so. And then I get it right. Sorry, where are you on your head? I go through this every time out the flying field once I connect the battery, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
So
Very, very nice, Roger. Wow.
on this one, I don't have an external positive lead. I guess for competition, you got to do that. But anyway,
He did such a good job that I wanted people to be able to see how you can make a profile look really nice.
Yes, I like how he covered up all the spaghetti. I really like that a lot.
Yep.
so anyway, you set your programming. I set mine for about 5 minutes, 35 seconds. I'm doing all this, by the way, on a 4-cell battery pack.
All right, that's what I use. I use a 4-cell in my SV11.
And 25C is the Pro Light series from Thunder Power. It runs down to about 30% time the flight's over. I've got 2 seasons on it. I've got 5 of them, and they all look the same. No puffing, doing great. So we're not overdoing it. 11 and a half, 5.5 propeller APC. And I happened to find a 12.6. I trimmed the ends, and it was already a 5.5, so I didn't have to adjust anything.
Wow.
Wow.
5.2.
Are you using a tractor prop, Roger, or pusher?
Standard. There's just not enough propellers to really, I don't know, maybe there is, but I don't have access to them. So line tension is absolutely great. When it comes over the top of that wing over, it's not coming at you.
That's always
Wow,
a good thing.
that sounds great.
It's a really good workhorse of an airplane. If you got a bad back,
Norm, do you know
go ahead.
the weight?
50 ounces.
Wow, thank you.
So,
And that's,
Welcome, Mark Weiss. Welcome.
that
Thank you,
includes
Charles.
that includes about 3/4 ounce of lead weight back there. So
Wow,
stock Pathfinder, just electric with the
impressive.
It's great.
I have another Pathfinder that's got a Super Tiger 46 on it, and it flies really well. Just about the same weight. It's hard to say which one's better. They both fly really well, and like I say, they're just good workhorse airplane. It's ready to go when you are.
I've flown both of those that you're talking
That
about,
is really cool.
and both of them were excellent flying airplanes.
Well, who designed that thing anyway?
I just wanted to see how you can clean up a profile and make it look nice without the wires hanging out.
Yeah. Looks nice. He did a nice job with it.
Yes, he did. It's as pretty in person as it is on the screen. Anyway,
But
that's,
gentlemen, my internet is still unstable, so I'm just going to be kind of quiet this evening. Hey, John Miller, did you see the presentation of the Pathfinder Electric?
Pardon?
Did you see the presentation of Roger Kramer's Pathfinder?
No, but I've seen it. It's gorgeous.
Okay, good.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
How you doing, John? Welcome.
Who's yelling at me there?
Pardon, Roger.
Roger Kramer.
Hi, Roger. How you doing?
All right. Trying to paint an airplane, but not having much luck.
We
Oh,
start
boy.
with brush, you know, You open the jar. Being a smart aleck, aren't I?
Well, anyway, I'll fix it. I'm gonna get the epoxy clear out and finish the job in a couple of days.
Oh, there you go.
It's a Mustang, the one that he, and it is really, really nice.
Well, I've been working, I've got this monster here getting really close now.
That's good.
I just gotta bolt the engine that in and get the weight box fixed and or set up and tie up the lines for it.
What one?
And I busted up the tail wheel putting it on, so, and I don't have another one around the house here, so I gotta order one.
Which one you're working on, John?
That's the SV11 back there.
Well, we can't see it.
That's the 11. Yeah, it's good. Part of it.
Where did you go?
Where'd you go, John?
And that's gonna be set up for this part will be removable to get to the control horns and all that here.
Oh, cool.
So that's one other thing you gotta,
That's gonna be nice.
but it's coming along, you know, for an ARF. She gave me something to fly. And interestingly enough, just as a little added on, remember Gordy, it was about 20 years ago. Some guy calling us from down south. And he and his boy were flying up behind the building in the fairgrounds and all that. And he wanted us to come down and fly, fly with him, teach him some stuff. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Well, it looks like I found the spot they were flying. It's right over here at our fairgrounds here in Delta. It's in fact, what I did is I took the plans for the Vanguard that I had and I mounted them up and entered them into the county fair here earlier in the week. And because I wanted it there in case there was somebody around here that was still flying or had been flying, would see it, recognize for what it was, and maybe I could get a flying buddy down here. So we'll find out. I pick it up tomorrow.
Okay.
Good deal.
Yeah, I did find the remnant of a painted circle in the parking lot on the concrete in the back. So there's a concrete pad that's already been set up with a circle.
That's where?
In Delta, Utah.
Okay. I never heard of Delta, Utah. I heard of Delta, Colorado.
No, it's Delta, Utah. Delta, Utah is in Millard County, and it's close to Fillmore.
Okay.
Hey, John, I've been doing the same thing. Can I show you mine?
You have?
Yeah. Let me see yours.
Now, who am I talking to? I was turned around.
Mark,
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, I don't have anybody to launch for me, so.
can you see it?
Oh, you screen sharing it?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I gotta switch screens when I do to see it. Hang on. You guys see it?
Yeah.
I don't.
Not yet.
me try
Bob Whiteley,
again.
I tripped over the heat gun, not heat gun, the iron when today.
No rush, John. When we're all settled out here, I'll show you again my removable canopy system for hatch system for on my SV11.
Oh, okay. Like to see it.
I've got it sitting right here, so I may as well do it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
hang on one second. Let me let Mark. He's Mark,
Can-
so
Can you
what
see
happens when
that?
you hit, let me see.
I get this
here.
little window. I hit share screen.
It's not. We see you, not.
Yeah, I don't see it yet. So what you want to do is bring it up first and then go down to the bottom and hit the share screen button. And then you should have a window pane of different things, and you select the one you want to share and hit, I think you hit start share, I think after that.
It says slides as virtual background, portion of screen. Oh, here we go. Okay, now you see it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
pretty.
Look familiar, John?
looks an awful lot like mine, yeah.
They're both very
I
pretty.
picked this up when I was out at Prodax to serve as a test bed for Super Tiger 60 for my Bearcat, and I just finished it this week.
Oh,
Congratulations, that's
looks
great.
like- Looks
Did the
nice.
first flights on it today. So
Let me ask you, Mark, how long did it take you to build that?
And feedback loop of some sort.
What was
are you
that?
okay?
I'm not getting some feedback.
Somebody was asking me a question.
Yeah, it was me. I was asking you how long it took for you to build that.
I got it at Prodax and I came back and then I had about 3 weeks and then I went to the Nats. And I came back from the Nats like a week and a half ago, so a little over a month. And
Looks
I didn't
good.
build every day, but they say it's an ARF, but there's really a lot. It's
There's a lot more work to them than, yeah.
Sounds like we're in a science fiction movie with that background noise.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah, I
what's
don't know.
causing
is that
it.
me?
It's got something going on.
Trying
think
to
it-
figure it out.
Mark, I've been working on mine for a year, not solidly, not every day, but I'm now understanding just how disabled my hands are when it comes to building model airplanes. Since I got electrocuted, I haven't built one, and I can't pick up anything small or even rarely normal size. So I have to use hemostats or needle nose pliers or something like that to pick things up and hold them and get them onto things. And then I drop them and then I got to go down on the floor.
John, I have all of those problems and I have not been electrocuted yet.
Well, I tell you, I thought I had a bad problem before I got electrocuted, but no, my hand, if you get it, this is where is it? That's a good view of my hands when they're,
Ouch.
you know, and the other one is a little bit better. Where is it? There it is. It's just the index fingers the worst, but that's my left hand, and it doesn't. I'm definitely dominant right-handed. Not like Gordon. Gordon can do either hand.
Well, the scab fell off last night,
Oh, good.
Excellent.
still real tender. And John talked about the shakes. I was trying to put a nut on my bell crank on my plane I was building. And I had to have Jim Rhodes put the nut on for me,
Yep.
because my hands are shaking so bad.
Yeah, I believe it. I understand.
You know, Mark, I think mine is about the same as yours for mods or whatever on my SV11 that I got here. I'll show in a bit. And I figure I've got about 40 to 50 hours into it to actually bring it up to what I consider a decent standard compared to the 5 hours they said on the ARF manual. That was just a total.
Yeah.
Yeah, smart.
Well, I could have invested some more hours to it because, there's a lot of rework you can do to these ARFs. It
Yeah.
depends on how long you want to expect them to last.
Oh, yeah. Just upgrading some of the components, I actually, between the bearers in there, I actually put some 1/2-inch balsa with the grain running across mine. to stiffen
Which
up
motors
that.
are you guys using in your SV11s?
I got a Super Tiger 56.
I'm using a Stalker 66.
Okay.
Now mine, I haven't flown it. My skill level isn't up to that. I've just got this and a whole shitload of other. But sorry, Carter. But Mr. Carter. But anyway, I'm a prolific builder, but I just haven't had a lot of time to get out and flying because I teach flying for a living. So nice days is kind of earn the money days.
Yeah.
So I've missed a lot of flying days to up my skills. So I haven't been in a panic on this. I got the two SV11s and well, I've got about a dozen decent stunt ships ready to go. So their time will come. But the SV11 was a lot of fun to put together in that it realized how, compared to my smoothie, how far the ARFs had come with Brodak. My smoothie was a piece of junk. I had to basically redo everything. The covering was garbage, or I just sort of left the covering. But the control system, I completely replaced it in the smoothie. The SV11, really, there wasn't a whole lot wrong with it that way. And, decent bell crank lead outs, etc. The only upgrade I'm going to do with it is what I've done on my profile vector here that I can show you the control system later if you want. And I've gone to those super smooth all metal RC car ball links. And I'm just thrilled with those. They're just worlds apart from that Dubro garbage. And so because I've got the removable cockpit section in my SV11, I can change out my control system to that and just not worry about it. So I'm going to be doing that shortly. But
I was impressed by how straight the SV11 is in terms of the manufacture of the parts. Everything looked really straight and clean.
It's really good. And the weight isn't all that bad. It's an ARF with plastic. It's, it's reasonable. You add on a little bit by the time you fiberglass the inside of the nose or
And
seal
Brodak
it.
was, I think, having a sale. It was $230. So that was a pretty good deal.
I paid $380 for mine a year ago for each of them. And so that's 170-ish US.
Mm.
Or
Yeah,
no,
they're not getting any more.
No, they're not.
I was looking at thinking that considering getting an ARC version because is it still, Keith, you'll know the answer to this. Is the ARC still legal for BOM? No?
No.
No,
As far as I'm concerned, it's not.
no. You have to build two major components yourself. Wing and the fuselage, or wing and tail, something like that. You have
Okay.
and you have to put the control system in. So that's your guide, I guess.
Well, then I don't think I'll get an ARC. At one time they said the ARCs were legal because you had to do all the covering and the painting and all of that, plus putting it together.
I'll tell you what, John, go the rule. It's spelled out as clearly as we could do it in the rule book. And when you read that, and if you think that ARC that you're looking at, you can build that and comply with the rules, then you're good.
Well, if you got to build two major components like the wing and the tail, wing and the fuselage, or something like that, that the ARC would not qualify for that. You're just assembling those parts.
Yeah.
So
I think the ARC disappeared along with the ARF, didn't it, from Brodak?
well, Brodak found a bunch of ARFs and ARCs in the back room that they didn't know they had.
Yeah.
And that's what they're selling out of right now. And quite frankly, if you want a plane to go out and fly and, if you're not really heavy into precision aerobatics as a contest work and that, you can't do much better than the ARC or the Vector, as something to do that with. I was amazed with the SV11, like you said, how straight it is. I marveled at the construction and that they were using a laminate. It looked to me like they had a laminate, a thin balsa shell on the outside, and a light plywood that was lightened, had lightning areas all around it, worn truss type structure to give it the strength and to help keep the weight down.
Yeah, I reinforced the nose quite a bit with 16th inch plywood for the Super Tiger 60.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The rest of the plane looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I glossed the inside of my nose, was because, you know, I'm running a Super Tiger 60 and I might bolt one in. I've got two that I just got in the mail, one yesterday, the Super Tiger 60s that are my alternate engine for it, but basically it's the same engine.
Well, I would run, if in a stalker, I would run anything from a from a stalker 51 to the stalker 74 or 81 if I really wanted to in that SV11. But I believe the stalker 66 is, you could tell I'm a stalker guy when it comes to, if I'm going to have an IC engine for it'll be a stalker most likely. You know, so I got invested into them. I've got more than several of them, and they run well for me.
I think Keith Trossel was going to say something. Go ahead, Keith.
John, back on your question, the BOM rule, you could still fly that in the Pampa classes, just you won't get appearance points. So if it flies that well, sometimes that can make up the difference for.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you can, I look at it this way. I average between 13 and 15 points with the planes that I build for the appearance point. So if it flies well enough, I feel I can do 13, 15 points, then I'm up where I would have been, you know.
Yeah, if it flies that well, why not?
Yeah, right. I'm going to be flying the SV11 at the meet in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Yeah,
I'll see you there too.
yeah. You'll have yours, right?
Yeah, I have mine. I've been flying mine lately. I flew mine
Hopefully,
today.
maybe I'll even get there.
Oh, that'd be great, Mike. How about you?
Yeah.
Roger, you guys coming to Las
That'd
Vegas?
be cool. You're going to
Right.
take video of it, aren't you, Charles?
Yeah, I'll bring a camera. I'll take video.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I'm
what we
thinking,
were talking earlier about how straight the ARFs are and stuff, Charles has a little bit of a story about his, though. They're not all perfect.
No,
You
mine.
wanna elaborate?
My trailing edge had a bow in it.
I remember that.
Which airplane, Charles?
It was my SV11 ARF electric.
Okay.
So one panel, it was kind of bowed, and I had waited too long to, I bought the kit in like January of, I think 2021. And by the time I opened the box and took a look at it, too much time had transpired for Brodak to replace it. So I was stuck with it. So I just put slits in it. And my friend Joe Mott and I, we manipulated it and set it with CA and got it as straight as we possibly could. And it's flying good. I don't see any, well, maybe there are effects, but it's not bothering me, hampering me from flying anywhere in the hemisphere.
That's good. So you're finally flying it. It's good to hear.
Yeah, finally, yeah. I mean, and I really enjoy flying it. I really super enjoy flying it.
I'd like to tell you about one of the Pathfinder kits that Brodak sent me.
Right?
When they opened the box up, the wing was broken off about 2 panels off.
Oh,
The wing
Hmm.
was too long to fit the box. So they broke it off and stuck it in the box.
My
Oh.
God.
that must have been early on in the. That was a one wing piece, right? I mean, is this one?
Yep.
Yeah, my wing was in 2 panels.
Yeah, with my smoothie, if we replace the entire control system, actually I did it on Stunthangar Hangout here one night when I was inspecting it, starting on it. And one of the lead outs was frayed. It had 3 wires separated just about a half an inch past the crimps on the bell crank. And so I just, no hesitation, just cut the entire control system out, put in a proper decent suspended with decent cables and everything, and it just replaced everything. But that was, I'm really glad that I'd seen that and, did the close inspection on it, because that could have been disastrous eventually.
Yeah.
Well,
There's nothing worse than losing a brand new plane on the first, between second or third flight.
Well, it's like my Vector 40 profile that I've got here. The wing was given to me from someone who salvaged it, and he'd lucked out because something just felt funny on the one flight when he was or hooking up his lead outs or whatever and playing with the controls, and he went into it, and his one of his lead out cables was down to 2 cables holding it on.
Hmm.
Now, ultimately, the airplane didn't crash. It was just fuel soaked because it's an ARF and, there was nothing in it. And so he just gave me the wing when I got some engines from him, and that's the one I rebuilt into this profile Vector. But that would have been a total disaster had he done one more flight.
Hey, Bob,
Yeah, it's
Can-
kind of critical.
did you say you have a removable canopy on your SV11?
Yes,
Can you show that? Is it handy?
you bet. I've got it right here. Just a sec. I'll move my iPad.
Thank you.
I'll just switch the camera, and
There you go.
that's my SV11 there.
Sorry, gentlemen, I was busy
That's all right.
taking care of us troll in the chat box.
Is
Hey,
that working okay?
that's about what I'm doing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I put in triangular gussets and a little bit of reinforcement to give the thickness for T-nut there. And I also reinforced across the leading edge and up.
I like
And some
that.
guys have criticized me saying it's going to fold and everything. I don't see how it's any weaker than these pieces of balsa that are glued on each end that are supposed to be holding that center section together.
I
That's
agree.
all. That's all aircraft ply. And just for the heck of it, so it was a little bit prettier, I molded in a micro balloon fillet on it too, and
And you
then
put a pilot
a
in.
pilot and an instrument panel, of course.
How difficult was it for you to get the canopy off to get that pilot in?
it's white.
No problem at all. I just cut out the entire cockpit floor and replaced it.
Oh,
It's a little bit ugly on the bottom there, but and on the back, I just ironed on some aluminum solar film or monocoat or whatever. And
Nice.
the pilot is just a new cockpit floor with the pilot inserted. I just beheaded Williams Brothers, and
Yeah.
the instrument panel is kind of nice. I just dug through old flying magazines till I found an advertisement for one of the flight schools actually advertising the cockpit of their wonderful airplanes. So I just cut out a few of those for mine. And the
Thank you.
control system is pretty much the stock bell crank, but set up with at present I have the Dubro links in there, but they're going away. And I'll show you the RC car links, which I've shown on another Hangout. And this is on my Vector. So I've just got a carbon fiber push rod with aluminum tube, and what I did, these are 3mm thread. And so what I did was took a 50mm long bolt, cut off the head, roughed it up, JB welded it in and put the aluminum tube over. And these controls are just so incredibly smooth. Unbelievable. Give me a
Those are
second and I'll dig out the actual pieces and show them to you if you want.
those
Yeah.
are metal, Bob?
Pardon me?
Those are metal?
Those are metal, yeah. Those are the ones I showed about 6 months ago on here. I'm
I
just gonna
think
switch
that
my
was in
camera around.
that night. I don't remember those.
Yeah, Howard ordered a bunch of them right off the bat, but compared to Dubro, they're not cheap, but compared to replacing an airplane, they're free.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Have you had problems with Dubro?
Well, some people have. So I
If you-
figure if one person's had problems with them, I'd rather not have any. A few of mine that I bought are pretty darn stiff right off the bat. So I just don't really trust them all that much. I'll just show you a couple of these here. You
Where
can
did you get
see where the heck's the camera on this thing? Yeah, there we are. This is a cutaway I did one night just to satisfy Mike Lonke. And you can see how it's a fully splined insert.
Right.
And if you want, I will stick a bolt through one of these maybe and spin it. But I've never seen a smoother operation than what these things are.
Where did
I
you
have
get
them
them,
set up.
Bob?
I ordered them from the local hobby shop, and they're for RC cars. And the product number, I should have it here somewhere. Yeah, it's from RC4WD, RC 4-wheel drive, I guess. And they're M3 by 0.5 is the thread size, and they're RCW4D, part number ZS1420.
Oh, can you give me that again?
Okay, so the main, I guess the main product description is Romeo Charlie 4 Whiskey Delta,
Yeah.
and the part number is Zulu-Sierra 1420.
Give me that in normal English.
Z-S1420.
That is Z. Just-
Not in Canada, it isn't. That's where I'm sitting.
That is not a Z.
Z for American Webster's, it's Z. The rest of the world, it's Z. So take it as you will.
Oh, no. I'm a ham radio operator, so I use that all the time.
Yeah, so it's Z-S1420. And the another number that's on here is RC4WD. That's the brand name, I guess.
Got it. Thank you.
So it cost me about $32 Canadian for 10 of them, which I figure isn't all that bad.
No.
No, that's not bad.
And as I mentioned, I just buy the 50 millimeter long M3 bolts from the hobby shop and just cut the head off and rough up all the black on it to groove it a bit so the JB weld will stick and into the carbon fiber push rods.
How many did you get for how many did you get for that $35 or whatever it was?
10 of them.
10 of them. Okay.
So I bought 3 packs of them. It'll suit me for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Thank you.
just the smoothness of them is unbelievable, and they're very lightweight. They're no heavier than the plastic ones.
Are they made out of aluminum? I would assume.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the ball pivot in them is steel, but the rest of it is aluminum.
Were you gonna spin one of them?
Sure, I'll bolt a bolt onto one of them and see what we can get here. I got to dig one out of my stash box here.
While he's checking, let me catch up on the chat box. Jeff Riley says, "Evening, guys. Audio is good on YouTube. Like button smashed." And then Jeff Riley goes on to say, "That Pathfinder could make the centerfold in Gary's calendar." I agree. And then Banshee 15 says, "Somebody tripped on a wire." I think that's because that audio loop we had. And then Banshee 15 goes on to say again, somebody tripped on the wire. And he says, "Not working for me." And then Jeff Riley says, "Hi, Banshee," and then we're all caught up. And Bob Whitley, I actually had suspected that my fuselage with that removable cockpit was flexing, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was my push rod was eventually.
Yeah, you'd mentioned that
discovered
earlier.
as the actual culprit. So,
So I'm not at fault.
No, you're not at fault. And all that, if you got any negative feedback, and plus, mine wasn't gusseted quite to the extent that yours was, but still mine, I don't think it flexed. It was just, because we was trying to figure out why is it not turning on inside maneuvers, and why is it turning like a bat out of hell on outside? So
Yeah, that'll do it.
eventually got to the crux of the matter, but that was just a suspicion we had. And when Joe Mata and I tried to flex the fuselage, I mean, two grown men, I was able to get it to, move a 64th of an inch. There was a little bit of light, but that probably wasn't that obviously wasn't the problem. So anyways, just wanted
Yeah,
to
so
kind of clear the air about that.
I figure I've got probably 4 or 5 times the structure as the stock installation for that piece. Anyway, here they just spin.
Oh, my.
Wow.
That's nice.
Wow, that's pretty convincing. That is
nice.
that is amazing.
I could show you the comparison on the Dubro. I've got them here, but there's really, this is the best of the Dubros I've got, and it spins kind of about the same, but I can feel slop in it.
Yeah.
Right. I think the Dubro is more susceptible to the temperature, because I know we had a gentleman, Bob Brooks, here in California, and when we had a really cold winter, and his control system just locked up. But once the weather warmed up, then they were loosey-goosey again.
Yeah, they're also susceptible to oils and chemicals because it's a plastic.
Yeah.
So whatever you use for a lubrication, if you do on the Dubros, is critical. On something like the aluminum ones, it doesn't matter. Use whatever.
Right.
Yeah, the problem has come up with the Dubro type with the plastic body and that, where if they get bottomed out, you can actually destroy it. You'll have a failure in the air.
Yeah. And additionally, there's plastic threads in it that you grind into it, really. There's nothing precision about that. So they do serve kind of as their own lock nut. But if you've got a precision cut M3 thread into the aluminum ones, and you use the lock nut on it, it's never, ever going to be an issue.
Right.
Hey, Bob, just a suggestion for all of you that I was lucky enough to take advantage of. I think it was at Brodak. I don't know where it was, but I ran into a bunch of people who all had the SV11 from Brodak. And we decided to have a weekly Zoom meeting so we could compare construction notes. And it was really a lot of fun, and you learn what other people are doing. Sometimes you can stop a problem before it happens, and, or steal someone else's idea. It was a lot of fun.
I'll show you something else I did on it also, Mark. I don't know if I want to pull a canopy off or anything, but just out of paranoia, because they're so cheap to buy, I put in a remote starter plug on it too, with the clip on the head.
Oh, yeah.
Now this one I did as an afterthought, because I already had my crutch all built in and sealed and everything. The next one I do, my green one, I'm going to probably build in somewhere around the landing gear, so it's out of sight.
Okay. I'm surprised we don't see more of those.
They're only $10 for a unit, if that. They're cheap.
Yeah, they are. They are. Well, thank you so much, Bob. I learned a lot.
Hey, I learned an incredible amount from you guys over the years in Pampa. When I was a kid, I saw Pampa being advertised when it was just formed, an American aircraft modeler. So I joined that month. So I think I've got the second issue ever of Pampa now, and all through the 70s. And then I was away from it for about 40 years. And I'm sad to say that I keep forgetting to renew my Pampa membership. So I've got to get on that pretty quick here. I got to get on that pretty quick here. So my apologies to you, Mark.
No, Bob, matter of fact, I knew you'd be on the call, and I checked our records from about 31 years. You owe us 78 cents.
Okay. Is that Canadian or American?
Whatever you like.
Let me say hi to my friend Mike Lonke. Thank you for coming in, Mike. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike. Mark,
Michael
when we were
also
having
has-
a little bit of issues with Pampa a few years ago, I'd actually offered and I'd scanned and sent all of the 1970s copies. My wife had laboriously scanned them all and sent them in, and I don't know if anything ever happened from that, or if you're missing anything from that era, I can certainly do it again. The only one I don't have from then is the first issue.
Okay. I know they're on the website, but I haven't looked to see if there are any of them missing. And I was wondering who did all the work to get it there. So if that was you, we all
It might have
appreciate
been, I don't know, but we'd sent it in and just never heard anything. So, because that was when all the turmoil was starting to happen.
Yeah.
Well, right
Well, I'll
now,
tell you.
go ahead, Mark.
No, I'm done, Keith.
I was going to say, I have all the Pampa issues from the very beginning, including the post-stunt news that Wendy did. And I sent all of those to, who is it in Pampa? They've got all those archived now. It's in the Pampa files. It's all there.
Good.
Fantastic.
That's
Thank you, Keith.
wonderful.
Is that Chris Rudd you sent it to, you think?
Pardon?
Was it Chris Rudd you sent it
Yes.
to?
Yeah, Chris Rudd did it all.
Yeah, that's who I'd sent mine to also, but as long as they got it all, that's great. And yours is much
Yeah.
more complete than mine was, Keith.
Thank you both.
I'm wearing a special shirt, Mark. Let me show you my shirt. Let's see here.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
Hey,
Charles.
Mark,
Yeah.
I got
We're
one
coming-
question for you. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I got a question for you, Mark. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to the camera here, the other camera. Don't know, they're not on it yet. There we are. Those old Pampa stickers, are they back in circulation again? Can we get more?
Not the blue one like that. I haven't seen.
Not the blue one.
Haven't
I
seen.
have probably 100 of the yellow and black. There may be a little bit of red on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care what color, as long as I can get some.
Well, you have to be a member, Bob.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured that out, it's sort of in the credits there.
Yeah, I'll get you some.
Okay, I'll renew my membership in the next couple of weeks here and order up a bunch of them. I've
Okay.
got a whole pile of airplanes piling up here, and I've only got one of those stickers left from the old days.
Okay. Well, I'll get you a sticker as long as you pay that 78 cents.
Okay, will do. That's the sticker tax.
That's it.
Stickers.
Hey, Keith, did you want to show us something on your desk there?
Yeah, what's sitting on the desk there, Keith?
Well, a couple weeks ago, we talked a lot about pilots,
Yes.
and there's a story about this guy. This is the airplane. The design is the one that I used in 78 or 68 through 70 that did okay at the Nats. And then this is built from the kit that Eric Rule made from that design. And I was working on it. This is when I was in Tucson. I was working on it, and Roy Trantham was visiting with me that time. He's been in a week or so there. He's getting some coaching. We're flying and working on engines and having a good time. And I was working on this thing and I got ready to put the canopy on. The cockpit was all done up the way I wanted to do it, and I was going to do like I had before. There was no pilot in there. And Roy was telling me it needed a pilot. And I said, I didn't have a pilot in there that would look right. The Williams brothers wouldn't look good and all that. So he got on the phone as late one evening, and we're there in the shop. And he called Tom Looper. And I don't know if you guys know Tom Looper. I think he lives somewhere like South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere back
Yes.
there.
That's
And
right.
he's a tremendously good builder, a pretty good flyer. He's been out to VSC a couple of times. I knew him, but not very well. But he got Roy got on the phone and said, Tom, Keith needs a new pilot for his airplane. And there was a pause. And then he said, okay. And then Tom said, how soon does he need it? And I said, well, I'm ready to put the canopy on. I'd like to have it in like 4 or 5 days if possible. Another long pause. And he said, okay. And it was about 5 days later, I got this little box in the mail. And in this box was this pilot. And I try to show it to you.
All right.
He's a German pilot. And I don't know whether this will show up well or not, but this guy's got attitude. Like no airplane pilot I've ever seen before. Now, I don't know if this is going to show up or not. That's pretty
Yeah, he
good.
is.
Oh, yeah,
Seems pretty
Wow.
good.
he's very German.
Well, he looks even better than that in real, because this kind of,
Wow.
and that's what he sent to me. And this thing, it almost floated out of the box.
Yeah.
Some kind of a foam material that he used on it. And I don't know what paint he used, but it's held up in the sunlight and all that. Sometimes these things fade. This hasn't. And this is just, I think,
That's beautiful.
That's phenomenal.
It's like Sparky is just thrilled with his Tommy Looper pilot.
yeah, if you could ever get one, why, you've got a gem.
Oh, that's
Wow,
nice.
That's
that
nice.
detail on that uniform is spectacular.
Like I say, if you could really see him in real life, this guy has got attitude. I mean, he's not just a face. He's got attitude in there.
Is that the TA?
Yes. This
Oh,
is
that's a
basically,
gorgeous airplane.
it's the same thing that I flew in the late 70s. An airplane, it got 2/5 in the first place at the Nationals.
Wow. That's
And that was with a Super Tiger, OS-35 stunt. This has a Merlin 40 rear exhaust.
Wow.
Keith,
You know,
was that
Keith,
from
right up
Plan?
there with Al's airplanes. I always figured that airplane of yours was one of the most beautiful stunt planes ever built. I've always loved the Dora Focke-Wulf 190 Butcherbird, and you did a superlative job on that thing.
Well, there's a newer version of that I'm going to build hopefully for next year. That is this I call the TA 152. I've got one that's it's more shows the influence by Raby with a bigger nose and all that. And it's a better looking airplane and it flies better than this thing does.
So you're going to a higher aspect ratio wing than
No,
with the 152?
No, I'm not using the long span version of the 152. It's just this is the short span version of the Focke-Wulf.
Yeah.
And the 190D is just a regular short span version. I am not in favor of high aspect ratios on a stunt ship.
That's beautiful, Keith.
Yeah, that's
And,
gorgeous.
the spinner came, Bob Whitney, friend of mine in Florida, made me the spinner. This is a carbon spinner. And now then you can buy these things. There's that place in China that you can get all sorts of spinners and you can buy these things
Mm-hmm.
with the right shape like that.
That is a big prop on there.
Beautiful.
Makes the
They're
airplane.
pretty.
Yeah.
How do you think you did that spiral?
We genuflect in awe.
Yeah. Oh, the spiral on the spinner.
Yeah.
That's a piece
That.
of monocoat.
Oh, wow.
And it stays pretty well stays stuck. As long as you don't use a starter on the thing.
Yeah.
At a carbon prop or,
Yeah. This is a Bali prop.
oh my. After my last experience with a 4-blade ABC, I'd be a little leery of starting that by hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keith, what's that V-tail up on your wall in the background?
That's a sweepy Goodyear racer scale.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
wow.
And I'll get it down if you want to look at it.
Yeah, please.
Okay. The sweepy is a Goodyear racer. You know what those are. This is
Yeah.
it was one of the early ones that flew with the Cosmic Wind and the Bonzo and Buster and all those things. And plans were published in Mechanics Illustrated by Sam Calhoun Smith. Some of you may know that name. And I thought this thing with the areas and moments and everything If it'd be built light enough, I could do an old time pattern. Well, the weight didn't allow that to happen. So when I tried to fly it, the best thing it could do is maybe a 45-degree climb and dive. That's about it.
4 times 46.
So while Keith's digging that down, I'm going to brag about my scores this week. An LA or a FP20, FP35, and LA 46, and 2 Super Tiger 60s.
Oh, wow.
And a bunch of spray bars and needle valves assemblies and stuff like that for Super Daggers, 3 of which I needed, so I've used them. I got all of the OS stuff and the Super Dagger needle valves for $100 Canadian.
Wow. Very good.
And I got this Super Tiger 60 showed up yesterday actually, and man, it pops nice and complete, no damage.
Wow.
I got it for 75 US. And this one here, it didn't have a Venturi or carb or anything. I got to call up Randy for converting them both, but this one's really got good pop too. I don't have a prop on it right now. I got this one for about $75 also.
Very
Where'd
nice.
you
So-
find them, Bob?
The Super Tigers were 60s were on eBay, and I guess people hadn't noticed them or something. I don't know. So I just sniped them at the last minute and got them.
Oh, sure.
And the other ones, the OSs, were from a fellow who's gotten out of Control Line in Vancouver, Canada, and he was coming out here and wondered if anyone wanted some of this stuff. So I got hold of him, and I'd missed him on his trip, or I would have got some other stuff from him. But he showed up here with these engines, so I just bought everything he had.
That's great.
So 100 Canadian, 70 US for the 3 engines and all the Super Dagger stuff. So, and he's got a whole bunch of other Control Line stuff. And I'm talked with him about just buying the lot as a bulk purchase. And, he's got a smoothie with a Brodak 40 and another 40 and a Flight Streak ARF kicking around and this and that, a few other engines and airframes. And we're trying to have our reunion of our original model air control line club here in Edmonton. It got washed out with COVID last year, year before last. And anyway, we're trying for it next year and get all the old guys from the Edmonton, from the Edmonton Birds of a Tether Club together out at our current flying field, which is now the Alberta Control Line Flying Club. And just have a real get together and stick handles in everybody's hands we can. So I figure between myself and Paul Jabot, we'll just show up with a fleet of airplanes and make sure everybody flies. I don't care if they crash. They'll just get them in the air.
Mark, send him
right.
a bunch of Pampa application forms
To who?
to Bob.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure. Sure.
should do that.
I don't, if they ask you, how do you feel like being a member, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say that it's absolutely fantastic because
Boy.
it formed the basis of my learning. Contributed to me having 3 different careers and accreditations between commercial pilot and instructor. I'm also a journeyman cabinet maker, which really directly came from building model airplanes, and just the engines and everything else. So much of it contributed to my entire life, and Pampa and especially Al Raby were major figures in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I started out in model flying, I had a Goldberg Cosmic Wind, a box full of wood, and I'd never seen a model airplane before in my life. I got a subscription to Model Airplane News, learned what I could, put a really crappy airplane together, but I learned to fly on it. And then I discovered American Aircraft Modeler, and I'd moved to Alberta by then, and got involved with a few other kids that we formed our own little model club. And I just took it to heart and went full hog on it. And when I saw Al Raby's articles on a Sea Fury, that really turned me on. And then Pampa came out, and the rest is history. But I was away from it for full-size aviation and the Army and this and that for 40 years, and got back into it and wondered why I'd ever left it.
Oh, absolutely. You reminded me of two things I just want to bounce to the crowd. One was a big surprise to me. Dave Fitzgerald reached out to me and said, I don't know if you know this, but we lost our field for the Northwest Regionals. That apparently they're building a hangar right where these guys fly.
Oh, no.
And the reason he reached out to me is that he found another airport that he said looks really good. He said there's only one thing. They want $1,000 a day for the event.
Oh, good.
And David said, we can't do that. We're represented by a nonprofit company, AMA. And he called AMA because the lady at the airport said, if you can prove that you're a nonprofit, we won't charge you anything. And Dave reached out to someone at AMA, the name's not important, and didn't get the response he was looking for. And he reached out to me, and I was going to call Chad Boudreaux, but then it dawned on me, if you just go to the website, several places it talks about AMA being a nonprofit. And the reason I'm bringing it up, if you're losing a field or you want to have an event at a private location, that's a big deal to be a nonprofit. So I just wanted to relay that to you. It became important to Dave, and every time I learn something, I try to pass it on, to everyone who will listen, because it's important. Second thing, and I would encourage you to, I'll give you more information on this if you think you'd be interested.
Oh, I think it's very interesting.
The second topic is the aviation industry is having problems attracting people for employment. It's also down on the industry is down on the sale of private planes. They're down on license applications. So there's a guy in West Virginia named Ed Waskey, and Ed runs a company that does full-scale repair and services on corporate jets. And he reached out to me because he knew what was going on at Triple Tree. And he asked me a year ago to participate with him and several others in an aviation expo in Bridgeport, West Virginia. And he got a ton of donations from aircraft companies out there, because what the deal was, he invited families with children of any age to come to this facility. They could fly RC, they could fly control line with me, they could play with rockets. There were representatives there at several industries, aircraft, as well as universities. And the first time we did this, we had 500 people show up.
Wow.
So, for me, it's a possible way of getting control line further out there. And what I've learned is that it's very hard to get the kids because the parents don't get involved. So this year I'm going to put the kids on the handle, but I'm also going to get their dads and see if I can just get, a little friction between, myself and the dad, a good friction in terms of compatibility. It's a 3-day thing, and I'm glad to do it. It's exhausting because I'm the only one, so I'm flying with 3 or 4 different airplanes, and kids like to put them in the ground, and I don't like to rebuild them. But it's very gratifying, and it's a neat way to get people interested in aviation and into modeling. So I just wanted to pass that along to you. I'll try to take some pictures, and I think it's the 18th to the 21st of August. So when I get back, I'll take some pictures and give you guys an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah. And Mark, you guys in the Northwest, just a reminder, at the last weekend in August, 26th to 28th, we're having our Prairie Fire contest up here, our annual contest, which we did all through COVID. And with the Chris's contest being canceled in Vancouver, if you guys want to come up, I already mentioned to Howard, as a little perk, if for you guys from the Northwest coming up, if you want, I'll grab hold of an airplane and take you on aerial tours around the area too.
Awesome. That's phenomenal.
I think John Miller had a question. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thanks. That's all right. No, Mark, I wanted to ask you a question. I like what I'm hearing about your involvement there. And I'm sure you can probably get some volunteers to help you here soon. But my question is, that the trifold we talked about a couple of weeks ago, remember that
Yep.
little Pampa trifold? Anything coming of that?
Yes, we redid it.
Oh,
Scott
thank you.
Richland, Scott Richland in District 4, I guess it is. He and I got some copies of the old one, and we redid it. Scott really redid it. But one of the important things on there, we wanted a couple of places where we could write our names and our contact information rather than just giving someone something that's informational only. I think that's, I think the key to growing Pampa and growing Control Line is when you get someone interested, they need a go-to person. They need someone they can see, someone who maybe can help them build a little bit, meet them at the field, show them how to fly. If they're going to do it on their own, they're not going to be successful. And when you think about that, that kind of knocks out kids because they don't have transportation. And frequently they don't have the resources. But with all the people we've met, for example, at Triple Tree, I'm sure we've met 800 to 1,000 people with the same exact introduction. I introduced myself, and the guy said, I'm Bill Smith, nice to meet you. I didn't know you guys still do this. And this guy's about my age. And he said, I still have a Ringmaster and a Fox 35. He said, is that still flown? Yes, it is. And I want to capture those guys because those guys just may interest their son or their grandchildren.
Yep.
So one of the things we're doing now is I call it a Pampa locator, where we're going to have the equivalent of a map and a pin where every Pampa member lives. So when someone says, I live here, is there anyone near me? There's no way in the world I would know that until we have this list. And we're giving that to each district director, so they'll know. Some states have very few. And, that could be a problem. But I think if we can give someone a resource because they can't find hobby shops, it's an uphill battle.
It is.
But we can do it. We can do it.
Another resource, Mark, that we're finding here, mostly through the efforts of one person, John Fromm from Lacombe, who runs his own, he's an aircraft mechanical engineer, but he's a fanatic about control line models, well, all models. And he actually opened up an old time hobby shop out of his hangar and is trying to encourage control line as much as possible. And under his encouragement, the Pinoca is a community about 15 miles from where he is. The radio control club there is very active, and they've opened up control line circles and keep them very well manicured for it. And as a result, there's actually a blossoming control line community starting to develop in Alberta here. We're not quite so successful at our field, but a few of us are trying. But it seems to be trying to attract kids and stuff is hopeless. But retreads like me or, converts from RC might be the lifeblood for the future. Absolutely.
So, anytime, and I don't want this to be a Pampa meeting. By the way, I'm not on here to recruit. I am on here to make people feel bad, but I'm not here to
Mark, don't let that stop you.
People.
Go ahead and recruit.
No, I'm here because I enjoy it and I'm getting to know you guys. But I'm also listening for ideas. I don't have the corner on the market, and there's some great ideas out there. One guy said to me, what I thought was brilliant. He said, why don't you coincide a big control line flying day with the Ringmaster Day? That might bring out some people that have 40-year-old Ringmasters. So there are a lot of ways, I think, to get these people, let them brush the mothballs off their airplanes. Later on, probably in September, I'm going to have the first of a series of Zoom meetings with every Pampa member. Anyone who wants to get on the call, get on the call. And just let them know we're alive and well. And just because you paid $40 doesn't mean that we shouldn't be staying in touch with you and helping you out.
And Mark, it's not uniquely model airplanes. You touched on it with full-size stuff. I'm president of the of the local chapter of the or flight of the Canadian Owners and Pilots Association here in Edmonton, similar to AOPA.
Yep.
And we put on pretty much every year, except the last 2 years with COVID, we put on the biggest kids flying activity. We call it Cooper for Kids in the country.
Wow.
A few years ago, prior to shutdown there, we flew over 300 kids in one day.
That's fantastic.
And
That's fantastic.
tied in with that, we encourage the heck out of all aspects of aviation, whether it be full-size flying models, air cadets, whatever. But unfortunately, we get very little return from these kids. It's more of a joyride to them than anything. Lee Valley Tools partners with us and has provided severely discounted prices on Gillows gliders and this kind of stuff. So I made up a jig to stamp our logo and theirs on either side of the fuse and repackage them all and everything. A whole bunch of work.
Absolutely.
But every kid gets that, a pack of magazines of full-size aviation. I don't have surplus model ones to toss in, but I've got probably 10,000 full-size aviation magazines to do up as packages to give away. And just trying to set the hook. And it's such an uphill battle because unfortunately the hook has to be set with the parents. And there's only a couple of examples that I know of where that's been successful.
Yeah. It doesn't work at Oshkosh either. With the thousands of kids that they put through the handles, it becomes more of a joyride, something they enjoyed, and then they never see it again. So, in dealing with that, as I've done a lot of times, one thing we give everyone who flies, we give them a list of everything we use, where to get it, who to speak to. Okay, and this year I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to bring my roster. And if you want to get going, I'm going to tell them I know 350 people, maybe 400 now, who'd be willing to take your phone call and help you, become successful in model aviation. And if you don't give them that, I think you're dead.
And budget-wise, $300 will absolutely completely equip them for getting into a 15-size airplane and fly the darn thing. That includes fuel, everything.
Yeah. So I've asked the district guys, we're working on a lot of projects, but I've asked them to keep a trainer in the trunk of their car. And whenever they're out, if they have some time to fly, see who's around looking and see if you can put them on the handle with you. Because that's the first step. And then give them the brochure with your name, your phone number, find out where they live, and then find out who's near them.
Yeah, the follow-up is something we've been failing on.
Yeah,
follow-up
that's
is
so important. It's so important. Even if they have a hobby shop, half the time the owners don't know control line.
Half the time? 90% of the time. Come on, let's get realistic.
Well, I used to be in sales, so.
Same here. Well, I'm still in sales. I teach flying, so I'm selling it. 80-20 rule. Yeah.
No, it's true, and I've said to the guys for 4 months now, if I can't find a reason for a person to join Pampa, I'm going to suggest they don't join. And if that's the case, we're in big trouble.
Right.
Because
guys, I don't want James to be ignored. Hey, James, thank you for coming in.
I'm done.
Thank you. Glad to see you're out of a cockpit and you're not flying a real aircraft. But I also wanted to let Keith have an opportunity. He went to the trouble to get that sweet pea down for us.
Oh, right. Yes. Please.
Thank you. Be able to show that.
Okay.
Let me actually show your plane. And thank you, Keith, for going to the trouble to get it for us.
Wow. I love it.
It's pretty.
This was in Mechanics Illustrated. Sam Calhoun Smith, I don't know the name. He was prolific builder designer back in the 50s and 60s. It's pretty much full scale, and landing gear shows up there the way it was. Like scale, it had stringer and fabric rear end on the tail end of the airplane.
Yeah, it's really nice, Keith.
And the V-tail, let's see if we can get this right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, too bad Dennis out of Missing couldn't make it in here. He probably would like seeing this.
Yeah.
It's a sheeted tail course, but there's one single control horn in there working in lucky boxes. And it works really smooth. And there's very, very
Wow.
little play between one elevator and the other. When you split, if you have to split the horns, you're going to get a lot of play and
Yeah.
between one side and the other. And that's the death if you split the horns on a flapped stunt ship. The airplane's never going to work right. And this is a lucky box with a single horn. Works in these lucky boxes are in here, and that horn is able to work back and forth on that. And
What
so
kind of hinges are those, Keith?
these are Dubro. Oh no, Robart
Hinge points.
hinge points. Yeah, I use those all the time. And let's see, this thing has a double star 40 on it, one that Roy Trantham helped set up for me.
Wow.
Engine runs fine, but the airplane was just too heavy to do any good. I thought if I'd fly it fast enough, we could get it through some semblance of the old time pattern, but you can tell that wing's pretty thin and it's not light enough to do what I wanted to do.
Is that a modified like a plastic spinner with the hole cut off?
Well, yeah, it's what are they? It's a standard 2 1/4 or 2.5 inch spinner, but I forget the name of it. And I
Is it a
just
Goldberg spinner?
no, it's another name.
Okay.
And the Sweet Pea had the nose cut off like this, so it put air in here. It didn't have intakes on the front of the cheek cowls. It took all the air into the spinner and then blew that out over the cylinders.
So it was a full pressure cowling then.
Yes.
Oh, you do beautiful work.
And the simulated ribs, that's all airbrush stuff. And they show up here on the ailerons too, I think. Let's get this. Does that show up? Yeah,
Yes.
that's with an airbrush.
Beautiful.
That
That's
looks like it
Sweet Pea.
moves.
You know, along the lines of the old pylon racers, you guys are interested, I could take some pictures of some actual ones. In the hangar, one of the hangars I fly out of where my office is, we've got 3 cassettes and an under construction shoestring with a later carbon wing. But one of the cassettes, actually, my friend Scott entered his first race ever at Reno about 5 years ago and won silver by less than half a second in, missed gold by less than half a second in his first ever race in pylon and rookie class.
Awesome.
And he only lost because he almost won because the lead airplane, his engine caught fire as he was crossing the finish line. So a few seconds earlier, he might have won. But anyway, if you guys are interested, I can take some pics of these planes and some other interesting ones like that and put them up one day.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Let me ask James a question. What was you flying in? I guess that was Monday. What plane was you flying?
Can you hear me? Is my mic working?
I hear you fine. Thank you.
Yeah. It's an Embraer 145.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. We had a long sit, and I don't like sitting in the terminal, so I was just hanging out, waiting to go. There's a lot of weather around lately. We haven't been able to keep on time, so I'd watched the stream about the problems from the Nationals with stunt, and I was listening to the deal that there's going to be some kind of Nats guide to running the Nats and how they call things, and I was just kind of curious about all that. I mean, with the combat stuff, you know, we MACA runs all the combat stuff. I mean, we actually pay our judges a stipend to be there, our contest director, to help offset the cost of hotel rooms and stuff. And I hadn't really encountered, I wasn't at the Nationals this year because I had to work, but I hadn't really encountered a time when they've come and told us that we couldn't, we had to shut it down. I just wondered how all that's going down.
Not well.
Well, I was there, and I guess as the chair in Tampa right now with the executive committee, it was firsthand, and it was Saturday, the most important day we had at the Nats. It was top 5 day, and it was Walker Trophy day. And we got in the first round in a day that had very mixed weather. So we started having some postponements. We stopped probably about 9:30. All decided to do whatever you want to do, come back to the L pad around noon. We came back at noon. It wasn't, the wind was tolerable. It was pretty stiff, but it didn't exceed our standard of 20 miles an hour for a minute or more. But we decided let's take another shot at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we still had all the judges we needed, all the competitors. Everything was fine. The control line director, a volunteer from AMA, not a staff person, but a volunteer, had apparently been trying to get going and go home on our drive, and came in and said that she just can't hang around too much longer. I'm just telling you what happened. And left the building, came back about 5 minutes later, had made a call to someone and said AMA has canceled your event. That didn't go over very well.
No, I suspect it wouldn't. That's crazy.
Yeah. And we know, you get to know Indiana weather, and storms come in pretty violently, but they leave pretty quickly too. And I happened to spend the night there. A lot of people did at 4:30. It was beautiful. And that's all we were looking for. We're not going to go up in crazy weather. So I had already met with the executive director. We've had several phone calls. This week they've had at least one and probably 2 meetings. A task force that Chad Boudreaux set up going over this issue. And my point as Tampa was that, we need to have a better relationship. We're the special interest group. I think at best, what should have happened, if this person was genuinely concerned about safety, she should have met with our event director. I happened to be there, but that was immaterial. And said something, I'm worried about, what are you guys planning to do? But that never took place. We never had any input. And when you put the thousands of hours that guys have been building and trimming and rebuilding, and then all the money they're spending getting to the Nats and at the Nats, and then to pull the plug on Saturday was very hard to take. So
sure, I can't imagine. Like I said, with the combat stuff, I think they were done by Saturday. And normally, combat is kind of left alone. I mean, we deal with our own. We set everything up. We buy all the streamers. The judges are all people that we bring in, and we had to beg to get center circles put out there. It took years.
Yep.
And I've been kind of removed because I've worked so much now. Bob Mears has kind of taken over doing most of the MACA stuff, but I couldn't imagine that they made you guys just stop flying. I just can't. I don't understand.
Hey, James.
Hey.
Hey, nice to meet you or see your face in person. Anyway, I know we talk on the Facebook page from time to time. I'm Sam's dad. You know.
Yeah. We met to that last year or year before last.
Yeah.
One of those years.
Yeah. It would never be an issue with combat because combat's always done on Thursday. Okay. Unless there's a team trials, combat's finished on Thursday. They're all Thursday. It's a ghost town. They're done. This directly came down to somebody wanting to leave on Saturday. That's why it would never be an issue for combat because we get all our stuff done. We're done 2 days before the stunt guys are. So
yeah, I know. And our big weekend is the weekend before because we do the team trials every other year, and then we have a big F2D meet the weekend before everything gets there, and it's never been a problem. I'm, I know I don't fly stunt. I did when I was a kid. I wasn't really good at it, and I didn't like building. I like building cheap and fast, and not building pretty. And so I don't really know, but I can imagine that losing that Saturday is a big hit. I mean, that is the premier.
Well, let's put it this way: if combat was still going on Saturday at noon, just say the events had run long and we were flying at noon on Saturday this year, the person that squashed stunt would have came and said, "You guys are done too."
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I know. I get it. That's why I'm wondering with this. I'm hearing talk of like a kind of like a Nats go by a Nats event. I'm trying to find the words here, like an event how to for the Nats and how these things are going to be taken care of in the future. I'm just curious as to how. I'd like to know more about that as the process goes on. I joined Pampa, by the way, just because I feel like
Thank you.
we should support Control Line. I always encourage all of our guys that do MACA to join everything because it's it's such a dying sport. And I've been remiss. I haven't joined Pampa in years, and I should have. And so I did. I signed up just to give my money. And who knows? Maybe
That's a good idea, James. We should get all these guys to join MACA.
Right.
I personally don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, they all need to join Miniature Aircraft Combat Association.
Our dues are pretty high, man.
I think it's
you don't
20.
get anything for your dues with MACA. All you get's a team trials and a Nats. That's what the dues.
Well, no, when you join, you're entered in a drawing for a brand new floor in
Now we
March.
came up with the drawing because we figured we got to do something because somebody bitched about the towels we gave. The towels wasn't good enough, so somebody complained. So we're like, okay, we got to come up with something different, and the floor was the answer. And I think people like that. It's something, we just there's not enough
James,
material for a newsletter.
Yeah. The 2-hour meeting I had with the executive director before this happened, which was interesting, was that I said, I'd like to see things in writing. I'd like to know what the responsibilities and authorities are of the control line director. And what exactly does the special interest group, where do we go and where do we stop? And so we came up with the idea of the Nats how-to. If you go to the Nats, here's the organizational chart. Here's who reports to who, and this is that person's responsibility and our responsibility.
Those are the exact words you said before that I was thinking about, org chart, like who's in charge. Because I had always assumed that, like for combat, we have an event director, and that guy. Dave Edwards for the last several years is basically, he does everything. And then we have the mirrors that bring laptops and all that infrastructure. And we do all that work. So for someone to come and tell us suddenly we can't do what we do after we've invested all this time and all this effort to set it up, would be ridiculous to me. But I realize it happens that way because they kind of put the kibosh on us doing the team trials because we were like, hey, we don't want to send the same team that's been waiting to go. We want to have another team trials to keep our Nats draw up. And they were like, you can't do that. The AMA controls the entire process and you have nothing to say about it. And it was like,
amen, brother. Amen, brother.
They're like, okay, you control the process up until the point when you actually have to hold a contest and come up with all the infrastructure to have a contest. Then the AMA doesn't want anything to do with it. They're like, I'm out. I don't want anything. So,
well, I'm optimistic that there's a silver lining here. I just said, because I was professional, but I was angry, and I said, this isn't a bunch of guys who go to the hobby shop and buy a Horizon Hobby $50 foamy. That's not what we do. And for some guys, just to make the top 20 is a lifetime ambition. And to make the top 5, they may never do it again. And to pull the rug out as if we didn't have enough common sense not to fly at 2 o'clock, I said it was unacceptable. And I said, look, if we can't solve this, I'm going to recommend to the executive committee and the membership that we should consider not flying there next year if we're going to be subject to the same rules by the same person. because it could happen again. And,
Right.
Tampa was formed.
The precedent's set already. They've already done it. They can do it again for sure.
Well, it was done, but it was not done with the authority of the top management of AMA. They told me that. We knew nothing about it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So this is like autonomous, just somebody winging it.
Well, I think the reason for shutting it down was wrong. I just do, but I think we'll get this right. I think things will be more clear. Tampa is growing again. AMA told me their numbers are not growing. So I just want to feel the trust. I want to know when a promise is made to Tampa, to the people flying at the Nats, that promise is going to hold. And they were very agreeable. So I'm waiting now to see. They've had 2 days of meetings, and I know the guy who's running the meetings, and he's a good guy. He's not an AMA employee, and we'll see where it goes. But it's going to be right. I'll promise you, it's going to be right.
Well, that's good. I hope you guys get that sorted. I was pretty disappointed to hear that, because I didn't fly stunt. My dad did, and it was a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of nights, a lot of building, a lot of sanding, a lot of polishing, a lot of flights, a lot of work.
Yep. So,
But the
thanks
building
for
is
the
so
question.
gratifying.
Yes, it is.
I'm learning how to enjoy building. I got a
There you
ringmaster up here. It's almost done.
All right, James. Very good. Yeah, I'm just curious, Mike Lonke, what are you doing, Mike? I see you're working on your airplane. You're rubbing on it, like as if you got oil on it or something.
No, I put a coat of wax on it.
Oh, excuse me. Very nice.
I'm waxing the axioma.
So you must like it then.
Whoa.
You're waxing it. You like the plane then, right?
Polishing it up. Well, actually, I got it out of the box today after my initial test flights a while ago. I disassembled it and I put it away because I knew I wasn't going to get to it for a while, because Sam and I were preparing for Brodax and Joe Nall and the Nats combat. We've been flying a lot of combat stuff lately. So stunt for me has been on the back burner. But now that we're through the nationals, the Las Vegas contest is coming up, and I'm taking this to Vegas with me. So I got it out today, put it together, just waxing it up, getting my batteries charged so I can go fly this weekend, and gonna hit it hard between now and November before Vegas. The kids went back to school today, so I will have my days, my mornings and early afternoons are going to be free Monday through Friday now. So the plan is to head out to the baseball diamond and get 4 flights a couple times a week, trim on it, play with it, get it dialed in for Vegas, Charles.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear it, man, because
That's great.
I'm looking forward to tangle with you. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to it too. We've been talking about getting together and competing and see, what happens. But that's
Yeah,
good.
well, I won't get the appearance points because it's a Uzbekistan buy and fly. So
Well,
there's that. But I'm hoping I get good enough with it in the next 3 months that I can overcome, appearance points for anybody else who might show up.
well, I'm looking to fly the SV11 so far until something else happens with Precious Balsa. I'm going to be flying, and I'll be in the same boat, no appearance points. So whoever shows up, we just got to outfly their appearance points and then outfly them. And so that's kind of where I'm heading to too also, Mike.
Yeah, well, I did it last year with a borrowed airplane from Dane Martin. So I'm hoping an airplane I had like 6 flights on before the contest. I'm hoping by taking my own that I actually, I'm hoping to get 50, 60 flights on it before the contest.
Mike, you're down in Kentucky, isn't it?
Say again?
You're in Kentucky, aren't you?
No, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee, shoot, that might not work out, darn. I was wanting to meet you face to face. There's a good chance I might be bringing a Velocity down to Kentucky in the near future. So
What part of Kentucky?
I don't know yet. It's a fellow selling his airplane down to an American, and he has bugger all for cross-country experience, so I'll probably be the pilot taking it down.
No, well, I mean, Kentucky's 45 minutes away from me to the north,
Yeah,
depending
so
on what part you're
Charlie-
going.
love to get together with you if I get a chance. You know, even if I take a day or two layover before I fly back.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Bowling Green, that's an hour away. You know, Louisville is
I'll
two and a
let
half
you know.
hours.
I got your PM anyway. We'll coordinate if it works out.
Don't go to Western Kentucky, man.
Kind of depends where the guy with the dollars is.
Yeah, don't go to Western Kentucky, man. I'm telling you, it's like Breaking Bad over there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
So all you guys on Stunthangar, I'm gonna sort of give you a teaser about the end of August when we have our contest. Howard's wife is really wanting him to come up for it, so we got Howard pretty much convinced. And I've got a couple of special surprises for him. One of which, for you guys, at his expense. One of which will be involving some video, I hope, or at least some still photos of something very special to a few of the people up here and to Howard. So stay tuned.
All right. And let me interrupt real quick. Brent Williams said, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, he said, "Hi, guys." And then Brent Williams went on to say, "I'm hoping to fly at Vegas too. Battle of the Junior Varsity." Well, absolutely, Brent. That's fantastic. We can have a Stunthangar video / Las Vegas Stunt Challenge contest. So everybody consider, because you can fly into Vegas pretty inexpensively. I think it's a little bit more expensive leaving. And Ruben and Steven do have some airplanes to fly, so you don't have to try to bring an airplane. You can come to the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge, which is, I think it's November 3rd to the 7th or something like that. I don't have the dates.
To the 6th, yeah.
6th. So come on out. We had a great time last time, and there's a lot to do in Las Vegas. You can even, your wife and kids can go do their thing, and you can go fly model airplanes.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been following Sam's career in combat lately, but we just bought 47 secondhand F2D airplanes and 8 motors, and we have been going at it since the Nats, since we got home. We had a flying session, yesterday. Yeah, I guess it was yesterday. There's.
Oh no! Let me make you big. That's pretty typical of combat, right?
That's an owie. That's barely a flesh wound.
There's another one.
Come back and go
Just
either
get
way,
out the
man.
duct tape, Mike. It's nothing. It's a flesh wound.
Well, the thing is,
You should see Sam.
yeah.
Combat's a weird thing, man. Sometimes you can go to a contest and finish second, tear up 1 airplane. Sometimes you go and you finish second, you tear up 13 airplanes. You never know.
Right. Well, this is F2D. This is F2D, so it's new to him and it's new to me. It's new to both of us. I mean, we fly half-A speed limit, and I fly fast, so F2D is new. But Steve and Dick Imhoff put us in touch with. Did you ever run into the Kresniks in your combat career? They were last active around 2015 or so, 2012.
I recognize it.
No, they're up in Michigan. They don't fly anymore. They just, the guy got old, can't fly, and then the son kind of lost his passion for it. Anyway, they had a ton of equipment, and I went up there last summer, and the planes were like $15 a pop. The motors were cheap, and I came home with 47 airplanes and 8 motors, just for practice stuff. They're not legal FPV motors.
I saw Sam's picture flying up on the MACA Facebook page a bit, so I was kind of encouraged. We don't have a lot of juniors flying. We don't have a lot of juniors interested in combat. I was hearing you guys talk about how to get people involved in control line. I mean, whenever I go flying, I carry a plane. I've given more 049 stuff away to people, and they just never show back up. I mean, I've tried to encourage people. I've taught so many people to fly model airplanes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Mark hit on it. Unless the parents are involved, you're not sucking kids in. That's just the way.
Man, I got two sons, man. They hate it. they never wanted to fly one bit. I got a brother, man. He flew combat with me when we were kids. He won't touch an airplane. I was cleaning out my dad's place the other day, and he's like, "Man, I don't want none of this model airplane stuff." So I'm like, I don't understand why people don't think it's the most awesome thing ever, but they just don't.
I think
I
a
feel
quarter
the
of the
same way,
battle
man.
is, guys, a quarter of the battle is when we were kids, you go out to the local schoolyard, which for me was 3 houses away, and you set up your stooge and you launch a model, and preferably a 35 size, or, well, it doesn't matter. And before you know it, you'll have 20 kids and, 5 or 10 fathers there. And Mr. Try loop the loop or whatever. And they're just thrilled. We're just thrilled about it. But we're not allowed to do that now. You can't have that screaming 049 or that Fox 35 unmuffled going. And so the kids aren't coming. They're not asking questions. The parents aren't there if the kids ever do show. And, we've just lost so much of the nucleus, and that's society, and we can't fix it.
Well,
Like
yeah,
you
Kids
can't
are dead, man. Kids are dead. Unless a parent is involved, kids are a dead end for growing control line, period.
Yep.
There's an availability of
society as a whole, you can't fix stupid.
there's an availability issue with in terms of modeling equipment, period. Like there's one hobby store in this area, in New Orleans area. There's one hobby store that sells balsa wood, and they just sell balsa wood. I mean, they're a model store. They sell trains and that kind of thing, but there are no hobby shops at all, period. There just aren't. I mean, I could drive to Baton Rouge. That's the closest.
That Baton Rouge hobby shop is the bomb, man.
Yeah, it's pretty. It'd be sad to see it go because it's like huge and it's got all kinds of cool stuff. Really does.
Is it going away?
No, but I mean, eventually one day it's good. I mean,
okay.
I don't know if anybody's going to take over for him, but
Yeah, Sam and I were going to the Baton Rouge stunt contest the past couple of years, and we went into that hobby.
It's happening here pretty soon. I'm trying to negotiate some time off of work to go because they're going to have a little Warbird combat thing.
Yep, it is, but it's the same weekend as Huntersville, so we'll be in Huntersville for combat and stunt, so we won't be going this year.
We might be moving to Carolina. I was just talking to those guys in Huntersville.
I saw that.
Asking them about what kind of setup they got over there. Because I'm based in Charlotte and I have to commute to work. It's such a pain. So we're thinking about moving.
Well, they got two really nice paved circles. They got a grass circle. And then when they have the combat meet, they close down the RC runway and they cut a circle. They cut 2 circles at the end of the RC runway, one for carrier and one for combat.
Hey, how much was that? You said you bought that stunt ship. How much of those things, roughly? You can buy one. You can buy one ready to go, ready to fly.
Yeah. I mean, built. You put your own motor, timer, ESC, and batteries, and props and stuff. But
so it's electric.
It's electric. You can get an IC version too if you want. You can. He makes them IC as well.
I don't know anything about it. I just think if I were gonna fly a pattern, it'd be with something somebody else built because I don't feel like building anything. Not that I'm gonna practice with.
Right. Well, I bought this one specifically because it was a take apart, and after going to the Las Vegas contest last year and having to borrow an airplane, I wanted something I could put in a check back because it fits in this box. I'll show you the box.
Oh wow! So you just pack it up in that box, and you can put that on the plane, huh?
Yeah, put it in a suitcase with a little bit of foam in it, and the guy actually builds these boxes. You don't have to buy the box if you don't want to. That's the box was like $200 or $250 for the travel case, but you can buy the airplane without the box. And then, the airplane, all in, airplane, box, shipping You can't really count the shipping because it was like $350 to ship it here from Uzbekistan. But the box in the airplane was like $1,400.
Oh, wow. So all in, you're close to like 1,700 or 2,000.
Well, 17 with the shipping, and then, you know, whatever the badass motor is, and the Igor timer and the ESC, you know, that's another $200 for the timer and the ESC, I think, maybe 250. The props are, you know, $60 a piece. You know, batteries are over $100 a piece. So I think I'm probably closer to $2,600 for everything. And that's if you got a charger too, you know, you gotta have a good LiPo charger. So
I haven't really messed with anything electric. And I don't have any stunt motor. I found a Super Tiger 46. Those used to be cool when I was a kid.
Yeah, they still are.
Yeah, I got two of them. They're great engines.
Oh yeah, check this out. This one is like I think it's brand new. I don't think it's ever been run before, really.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been. I don't think it's had one run on it.
That one's got the lugs too.
This is a friend of my dad's passed away years ago, and his wife didn't really have she didn't really have any need for any of this stuff, so she just gave my dad a bunch of engines and a bunch of OS Max 40, a couple of Super Tiger 46s, that kind of stuff.
That'd be nice. Those are nice size airplanes. Motors for nice size airplanes too.
Yeah, like I said, when I was a kid and a kind of around stunt through my dad, the 46 Super Tiger 46 was like, oh, we want to have one of those. That's a cool engine.
That was the
And
gold
my dad
standard.
switched to flying a 4-stroke, a FP40 or something, some kind of OS Max. But that thing seemed like it was complicated, man. Valves and whatnot to time and all that. But
If you ever decide to get rid of those Super Tiger 46s, let us know on Hangout first.
oh yeah, I would, yeah, I would for sure. I browsed around there, you know.
I got
yeah.
two of them and I love them. That was my first second exotic engine I got for the day when I was a kid, just scrimping pennies for airplanes. My first was the Super Tiger 35 C35 RC, which was the combat version for. I used it in my carrier plane and my World War I slow combat with third line, and the other was the Super Tiger 46. And I still have that one and another one, but those were the gold standard back when.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I think that one's really brand new. I have another one that's like, or another two that are like. One's my dad, you know, he had a Stiletto, I think, and a Stiletto and maybe a Genesis or something, and they were in that.
Like if somebody's building a vintage or nostalgia 30 El Raby airplane, you know, the P-51 or the Bearcat, I mean, that's the engine you got to run.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know I got one.
Yeah, those are good motors. Those are good motors.
So we were talking about hobby shops and not catering to control line. Like around here, we've got two hobby shops. Both of them are decent people and everything. One of them will actually, when they can get it in, they'll carry SIG fuel and stuff that we can use for control line. And they carry lines at ridiculous prices, you know, like $70 for a set of lines. You know, it's ridiculous. Wow. But even for glow, I mean, everyone's electric. But I was in yesterday for some coils, some plugs, and I got some number 8 OSs. It was $11.95 Canadian per, which is really cheap compared to where we usually see them. And what was so funny was the gal there said, well, you know, those are $11.95 each. Yeah, unfortunately I do. And she said, how many do you want? And I says, I'm taking them all. You know, so I cleaned them out. But they had some I forget what the hell the number was. It supposedly replaces the old number 3. Is anyone familiar with that? How do they compare to the old number 3? I'm sorry, I can't remember what number they.
I think it's the 6 you're talking about, right? I think it's number 6 replaces the A3, I think.
Okay. And they were a lot more. They were like $18 a plug.
Ouch.
I just think that's a hot plug, I believe. The 8's a
Man, that's-
medium, and then the 6 is a hot. And I actually use 10s, which is a cold plug. I use those on my stalkers. And yeah, plugs are very expensive. They are. Hey, I want to, before we end the stream, I want to ask if anybody knows what's going on with the World Championships. I know we have Tryon there, and we have Word, and of course our full complement of our U.S. team. Anybody know what's anything going on over
Well, they're flying in the World Cup right now.
Okay.
The World Cup started today. It's kind of a warm up for the World Championships.
World Cup.
What
is,
day does the champs start?
Next Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just read
Anybody
that.
going to be trying to stream any of it? I don't doubt.
Joe Daly was posting on Stunthangar. He posted some scores today about, the rounds today. And he actually posted a link to like the scores update. You can watch live in real time the scores when they come in. So there's a link on there under World Championships, but the World Championships haven't started. They're flying in the World Cup, which is a different event.
You can even
Thank
see
you, Mike.
the
I appreciate
individual.
it. I didn't know what was
judges
going
each
on, so
flight.
thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you can. The board that I saw after the first round, I think Igor Berger was in the lead. Orestes was third. The next American, I believe, was Joe Daly, maybe down to 12, 14, somewhere around there. Right behind him was Howard. I don't know how many rounds they fly in the World Cup. It was interesting. It was funny. I sent a note to the three of them plus Stephen Daly, just saying, hey, we're also proud of you for making the team and have a great time. And then whatever you do, we love you. Have a great time. And I got a note back from Howard. This was like 12:30 in the morning. And at least my time it was. And he said, hey, Mark, thanks for the note. But he said, I'm not sure I'm a paid up Tampa member. So I said, Howard, I don't think that should be the first thing on your mind right now. I said, I'll tell you what.
Concentrate on your
come in,
client, Howard.
yeah. If you come in first, I'll pay for your first year membership.
Nice.
So, yeah.
He's probably a MACA member, though.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is.
Hey, Charles, before we shut down, do you mind if I show a little minor thing just for the junior type guys who might be watching and shy about after party?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you know how we do the wraparound links for hinges to insert into the trailing edge for flap horns and elevators?
Right.
I kind of make them up in bulk. I'll just show you here. For either around 3/32 wire, the tubing, whatever we put over that, and 1/8 inch.
Wow, so you didn't
So
buy
I
that,
just,
you
I
made
just make
that.
them up by the crap load.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
I just bend them in the vise around music wire and then punch them with my Roper Junior punch like the one you have. And I had a wild idea, last night for a stooge on the tail wheel wire. The guy's always trying to come up with something to be nice and neat. And I thought, why don't I just take one of those and grind it down, wrap it around, and solder it on.
Yeah. Good idea.
And it works slick as can be.
Very good.
So anyway, just a little how-to that might appeal to some of our junior members or whatever.
Hey, even
like
our
that.
senior members can use them too.
Yep.
Very good.
Actually, when I get to start flying, I've got one of the stooges from Brodak that was the one that goes across leading edge of your stab.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I use something similar to that myself.
I don't know. Hopefully I'll get something built and
We missed
We're losing you, Michael.
muted yourself somehow, Mike. You're muted. You're still muted. You got to unmute yourself. There you go.
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back. I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. But
All right, we are too. We're gonna end the live stream. We're gonna,
Michael, on Monday night, if you want, I'll show you my remote control stooge, which uses some of the Brodak components, and you
Oh.
might want to incorporate some of that. So
Okay.
maybe if you want, Charles, we could do sort of a little bit of a repeat how-to on that.
sure. We're gonna end the live stream, and those of you that want to join us, you got to come in through At the Bench at Stunthangar Forum. There's a place called At the Bench, and I posted a link there with today's date. Click on that, and then I'll bring you into our meeting here. So we're just going to cut the live stream. Some of us are going to stick around, and sometimes all of us stick around, but we'll see. And so we'll be back Monday. Go out there and this weekend, have some fun, work in your shop, and come back and show us latest handiwork or what you've been working on. And until then, good night, everyone.